Hello, friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Rowell. All right, today's just kind of a hanging out around the house and getting a few things done kind of a day. First off, I got a note from the new management of the apartment complex that they got a whole bunch of things that they want to do this upcoming week that I got to do a little preparation for. Basically, they want to inspect virtually every apartment. I'm assuming they're going in and just trying to come up with a list of all the things that are wrong with each of the apartments, so they can kind of get their act together and figure out how they're going to do a repair of that. And in order to do that, they're one of the things they're insisting on is any animals need to be corralled in cages or something like that, so that they can go around, uninhibited and not have to worry about animals getting out or anything like that. Now, since I'm probably going to be here when this happens, I'm gonna wait until they arrive before I actually corral the cats up, because it's no fun for them to be locked in a cat carrier for maybe as much as 3 days while they get around to doing all the inspections. So we'll just wait until they arrive and we'll catch the cats then. Also, I kind of want to be here anyway because I've lived here for 6 months, so I know where the problem areas are. And if that's what it is, if they're coming in looking for things that need to be fixed, you know what? I'm going to be able to lead them right to those things right off the bat, because I know where the problems are in this place. And I got a big, long list of things for them. So, like I said, I got to get a little bit ready for that. Um, Also, I'm a big fan of a band called Guided by Voices, and that I run a website called guidedbyrobertpollard.com on the subject. Well, we do a number of things that are like unique in the world of Guided by Voices, and one of those things is that the person who co-created the site with me, a friend of mine named Matt, writes reviews of the albums. There's literally more than 100 albums, and several hundred side projects and EPs and LPs and uh, singles and videos and all sorts of stuff that have been produced. And this friend of mine, he writes reviews for all these albums, kind of from the perspective of a Guided by Voices fan. Now, one of the problems you run into with the band Guided by Voices and their music is it often doesn't lend itself to one listening. You don't really understand the album after one listen. And that's the problem you get into with most of these professional reviewers. They listen to the album once and then try and write about it. And you have to get to know the album. Even I've discovered that there hasn't ever been a single one of these albums that I listened to the first time and said, wow, this is a great album. I had to force myself to listen to them 5, 6, 8, 10 times before I finally got most of them. So, and that's the case with like everybody. It doesn't lend itself to a single listening and okay, yeah, I know what this album's all about. Very few people like it after the first listen. So what Matt's approach has always been is he listens to the album over and over and over and over and over again until he knows the album, and then he writes about it. And as a result, he gets kind of more of a perspective of what the album's all about. He writes a little bit about the history of what was going on in the band at the time. He can, start hearing some of the things that remind him of things that other bands have done and make comparisons that way. And it just results in an overall better review. And it's really great for Guided by Voices fans because there's one place where they can go get them all. As opposed to you have to go to this album or you got to go to this website for this one and this magazine article for another one, and you have it all over the place. It's a one-stop fits all for Guided by Voices reviews from a fan, and so we think it makes it a unique site to for the Guided by Voices fan to visit, and it's something like I said that's exclusive and exclusive to us. So we think it's what makes our site better than some of the others. Anyway, I got another review from Matt today, and I have to get that edited in and put into the website. Basically, what happens is Matt will write the review. He'll email it to me. I'll kind of wordsmith it a little bit, and then plug it into the site, and then put it into our social media sites and all that fun stuff, and get it going that way. So that just takes a little time. I got to sit there and kind of plug everything in. And like I said, it's a process. I do it the same way every time, and it goes pretty quickly, but it does take a little bit of time to do. So I got to do that today. Additionally, I got a text message from John, the guy who runs the Silo of Screams attraction that I participated in last October. Um, they are going forward with the holiday Silo Scream session, which is this coming Friday and this coming Saturday. This Friday is a Friday the 13th, and then so on Friday the 13th and on Saturday the 14th, they're going to do a haunted holiday Silo of Screams. And I heard him talking about this when I was working back in October and November of this year. And at one point in the evening, we were kind of in a slow spot where, it was kind of winding down for the night. And I just happened to hear this guy out talking to a couple of other people about this event in at the end of this week. And he was saying that he was looking for a big person to play Freddy Krueger. And my ears immediately peaked up because I'm a pretty big guy myself, and I'm a huge Freddy Krueger fan. So, I love the Nightmare on Elm Street series. In fact, I've been watching the movies over the past couple of nights just to kind of refresh my self on that. Because, like I said, I'm going to probably be playing Freddy Krueger. In fact, this guy said that he was still considering me as the Freddy Krueger character, and was talking about some of the details. He says he's got the finger knives, and he's got the sweater, and he's got the fedora, and he's got several masks, and we'll try the masks on and see how they work. And he says the masks, aren't really high quality ones, but it's going to be dark in there, and you know what? If I'm running around chasing people with finger knives, they're probably not going to have much of an opportunity to realize, oh, that mask looks pretty cheesy. So looking forward to that. But in addition to that, John told me he would like me to produce another video for him, another advertisement for him. This is he showed me an example of one he did in the past, and it's basically very simple. He's got already got the soundtrack produced for me, so and they've been using it on the radio, I guess. And he's going to send me a bunch of pictures, and he showed me an example of what they did, and he says he'd like me to do that. He's got specific things he wants me to do at specific times in the video. But a lot of the rest of it, he says, it's just going to kind of, allow me to kind of, stretch my wings a little bit and see what I can come up with. So it's going to be a 30-second spot, and he's going to put it on all of his social media sites and all that fun stuff. And he's also said that he's going to let me share it with you guys. So I'll be posting that in a few days on my YouTube channel, so you can all see it, and you can tell me what you think. It's gonna be another one of those. I'll demonetize it because it'll belong to Silo Screams, because they're gonna pay me for that, and so that's a good thing. So gonna have to spend a little time working on that. I figure it'll take an hour or two to throw it together, and it's just fun to kind of do these kind of things a little bit and be given a little chance to, show my creativity to maybe a different audience. So anyway, that is really what my day is going to look like today. So, I hope you enjoyed listening to this. I hope you enjoy the Silo Scream spot that I'll post probably about the day that this video posts. Now, one of the other things that I'm going to probably do today, I got another series of text messages from Jordan last night. He's spending a whole bunch of time trying to figure out how to help me build up my channel, and I really appreciate that. And one of the things he suggested that he thought would be really good, and he says he's seen that this benefits him on his channel, is that he thinks I need to create a bunch of playlists. He looked at my channel and says it looks like I get about 6 of them. But he says that he thinks that if I were to just go in and just create a bunch of playlists, that he says that affects the way YouTube kind of promotes your videos. Because if somebody watches one particular video, I guess they're more likely to, that YouTube is more likely to send suggestions and recommendations for following videos out of playlists that might exist. And so he kind of suggests that I create a bunch of them, and he says it's even okay if the same video appears in multiple playlists. He says that he thinks that's a good idea, and he says that'll help me boost my views, which he says, and this is apparently the time to do it because apparently this is the season where you get the most ad revenue. I guess after the new year, it drops off for a couple months. And so that's why he's really kind of pressing me to kind of get things done now while the ad revenue is nice and high, so that maybe I can make it through the slow season when we get into the new year, where for some reason the ad revenue goes down. So I think I'm going to spend a big chunk of my time today kind of doing that. I got to go through all my videos. Jordan also kind of recommended that I get rid of my unique numbering system. We called somebody on one of my live streams called it Brexadecimal, and whatever. Jordan thinks it's a little bit confusing. He thinks I ought to just go with a regular number system because it'll be easier for people to figure it out. And I guess that makes sense. If you don't know that how my numbering system works, you might not know that the number after 59 is 5A. And, that gets a little confusing, but, everyone knows that the number after 59 is 60. So I think I'm going to go through and renumber all my videos and add some playlists. And he's also suggesting creating a whole bunch of tags and stuff like that, which will help people find my videos who aren't necessarily regular viewers of mine, just if they're looking for a particular keyword, and I have a whole bunch of keywords in my videos, it'll make it easier for them to find mine. So it's going to take a few days to transfer all those over, but I think it's time well spent. And like I said, Jordan's the expert. He's got nearly 100,000 subscribers. So you know what? I'm going to take his advice when it sounds good, even if it's a little bit of work. So anyway, I think that is all I have for today. Thank you as always for watching, and I will see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Good night.